to Round Robin. I'm your host, Robin McCormick with the City of Hampton, and today we're going to talk about a new initiative for young people to get them involved in the community and specifically the efforts against litter. My guests are Sean Robinson, an Hampton University student, and Debbie Blanton from the Clean City Commission. And I should say you're also from the Clean City Commission, and you have a role there, and that's kind of how everything came together.
Yes, ma'am.
So Sean, let's talk about, you started this more from a young people should volunteer. It's good for their future. It helps keep them away from bad things. How did that come about? Why is that important to you?
Oh, well, that's important to me because first and foremost, I'm from Detroit, Michigan. So I'm from an area where you don't really see a lot of positive role models in your neighborhood. And so I came out here and first thing, I was exposed to the Hampton Clean City Commission. I found out all the wonderful things that they were doing and that there was a board position available. I was already maintaining an adopted spot and through my fraternity, and it just all meshed together. And so when I first got exposed to it, I said, hey, how can we get more people to help reduce some of this litter that we're finding on the side of the road? And then I just got the idea, change. And that came from my mother. It was Christ helps all new growth emerge originally. Well, then I was like, well, what if we just kind of change some things and put community where the Christ was, and now we can try to get these younger people involved. So then I was like, well, how are we going to draw them in? And then we got the idea of getting the band Fortresses Live involved, and from there it just snowballed. We had Debbie giving the steam with the grant and that we found from Keep America Beautiful, and from there we were just able to mold it into something a little greater, and now change is all about getting the college and high school students to participate in the anti-litter campaign in order to reduce the litter that we're seeing. I mean, litter is responsible for the flooding that happens. It's responsible for devaluing properties, and these are things that we should address, especially since the City of Hampton has the title of All-American City.
So Debbie, you've been in this business for a long time.
Right.
You've been, preaching, don't litter. You've been working on cleanup campaigns. This age group is tough, right? Like, it's hard to get them interested.
Well, they have so many other interests. The group that we're looking at is youth, basically, teenagers and early college students. And that group is developing so many social skills and so many relationships, and they're going through so many changes in their lives. It's kind of natural that they would sort of back off community service and community concerns, but it's important that they don't, because that development of leadership that we need from them in the next 10, 20, 30 years is happening now with them, and we need to get them to get their hands on a community issue, a community problem, and let them see what they can do with it. And so when Sean started talking about his idea, I was really excited, first of all, because Sean's a poster child for the kind of thing that we're talking about. He was working in the Adopt a Spot program. Mm-hmm. He becomes involved with the commission, becomes a board member, vice chair, he didn't mention. Mm-hmm. But that's the leadership potential that we want to develop and the great ideas that come from it. And so that's what this program Change is all about. It's helping young people see that they can make a change in their community, that their community is important, and that they have a role in it.
Well, I think, you and I talked for a little bit, but younger kids are easier to get involved.
They're very enthused.
They love causes. They're very tied to, the earth and playing outside. And so litter cleanup, I think, is kind of a natural connection. And as parents, we can kind of drag them along. Mm-hmm. But it is when they become teenagers and they get a social life and academics and extracurriculars. Kids today are involved in a lot of stuff, but a lot of it's for them and their future and their friends. So, Sean, you're an HU student, not necessarily a typical student, not a right out of high school student. You had some life experiences before you went back to school. But how do you talk to people your age and get them to share your commitment?
Well, the big thing that I try to convey is that I'm just like you. I'm just a regular guy. I'm a student. And I'm here trying to do better for myself as well. If you don't like your circumstances or your surroundings, there's something that you can personally do about it. You can play a huge role in it. You don't have to wait around. You can take matters into your own hands and be about change. It says it takes a village to raise a child. Well, community helps all new growth emerge. That's where it's coming from. That's its origin. And I firmly believe that if you do get involved, then you can be the person to ignite the change.
Right.
And that's really what we were discussing. I think what you stated earlier is that, kind of when you're younger, you're able to adopt behaviors and different habits a little easier than when you're older. You're like, oh, I ain't picking that trash up. You driving down the right.
Yeah.
But if you're a kid, you can see the difference. You see the band and the guys over there jamming out. And you're like, oh man, these guys are all that litter they're picking up. Well, somebody's been throwing it out. And then it all goes back to a theory. I'm not sure if you're familiar with broken windows theory.
Mm-hmm.
You're familiar with that? So it's like, we're taking an interest in these places that we are adopting, that these student organizations are adopting. They're showing, hey, somebody cares about this. And so hopefully what we hope is to actually, over time, see reduce in the tonnage that we're actually picking up at these adopted spots.
Right. Like initially you want to pick up a lot of litter, like that's a good thing, but you don't want that litter to come back. So,
right.
And that's part of it. Once you have been on a litter pickup effort, you're much less likely to litter, I would
Right,
think. You're like,
because
I know how long it takes
Right.
if I'm outside cleaning that up, so if I don't put it there, I'm saving time.
Right. Yeah. And you kind of see how gross it is to have to pick up somebody else's trash.
Mm-hmm.
And so, at least once or twice the thought will cross your mind that I don't want anybody picking up my trash.
Yeah.
At
these
least
people are
that's the hope.
nasty.
Oh, yeah.
But the other part of it too is that when our youth are going through all of these changes and they're so future facing and so concerned about their own futures, which is a natural process.
Mm-hmm.
But when they do that, they sometimes forget about sort of the rewards of the Spirit. And one of the things that anyone can do to feed their heart and soul is to volunteer, to do something good for their community. We want to reinforce that fostering of good spirit and community awareness by offering this program, and the carrot on the stick is that we will have $500 scholarships available to one high school student, one college student, one high school organization, and one college organization. And so by participating, racking up the hours, doing a number of different activities, then these students will actually have the opportunity to get something that will help them with their future. But at the same time, they're laying the groundwork for those leadership skills, the coordination skills, the planning skills, the feeling of how good it feels to go through a trashy area, clean it up, and then look back at it and see how nice it looks. Mm-hmm. All of that will be woven into this program.
And so you've got two things basically that make it a little more attractive for younger folks. And one is the scholarship,
mm-hmm.
And the other is your band and
mm-hmm.
fun. I mean, you're making it
right.
cool. You're making it a fun thing to do. How did that happen, Sean?
Well, the way that came about was I seen that the band, Fortresses Live, the actual leader of the band, Zachary Hines, works with Seed of Hope Productions as well. And so I'd seen what he had been doing with that organization, and I was like, hey, man, how can you get involved in this? And he was all over it. That's what their passion is the community and being involved. And actually on the commercial that we created, they stopped playing and got out there and started picking litter up with us. They're like, oh, we not just a band, we all about the community too. I'm like, Zach, man, Zach gets a little hype when we start talking about community service and putting in work. But, he stopped. They got out there, start picking up trash with us. And that's the sort of thing that we're all about. We're trying to really, we feel as though that's the like you stated,
mm-hmm.
I never used that expression before, but the carrot on the stick, is drawing them in is the band. And, they have a nice, smooth, soulful, melodic sound to them to deliver the message. This whole slogan or theme of the campaign is don't throw yourself away. And so we want to identify the personal connection to this litter that we're finding on the ground. This is your community. You know, this is where your home. Don't throw yourself away. It's just like you're doing it. And we really kind of toyed with different themes we were gonna, or different, I guess, mascots we were gonna have for the Change campaign. We were at first talking about a superhero that's gonna jump out of a bush and be like, hey, no, you know, don't do that garbage. And then we were like, all right, that's cheesy. It's not gonna get anybody, draw anyone in. And then we're like, hey, music. Just get a nice soulful band, and landed in our lap.
And that don't throw yourself away also gets to the piece Debbie is talking about, the leadership, the self-esteem, the personal growth and development that you get when you're a part of the community.
And just building on success, because there really is nothing more than success when you're picking up litter, because you start with an area that's dirty, you spend an hour, or if it's really, really bad, 2 hours. And when you look back, success.
Yeah.
It's clean,
Yeah,
it's beautiful, you can see the difference. Oftentimes when individuals and groups clean up, they'll find that over time the litter lessens. Never completely goes away, which is a most unfortunate thing in my opinion, but they find that people do appreciate having clean areas.
Yeah.
And it makes them feel better about themselves, about their community, about our city, and that they had a part in it. You know, there are a lot of things that young people can't do. They don't have the money, they don't have the needed permission or whatever. Here we have a formal program that's based on their time, their schedule, and it's their way of contributing. Easy to do, very rewarding. And at the end, maybe some money to go to college.
Cool. So how, if I'm out there listening to this, whether I'm the parent or grandparent saying, hey, you could get scholarship money, or whether I'm a kid saying, I want to get involved, how do I learn more?
Just contact the Hampton Clean City Commission. We have a web page, hampton.gov/HCCC. We have a Facebook page, Hampton Clean City Commission. You can contact us by email at hccc@hampton.gov. Those are the initials for Hampton Clean City Commission. Call us, 727-1130.
All right, so we can get all the details about how to sign up for the program or how to get involved. What were you going to say, Sean?
I was going to say we also have an Instagram too.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm still adapting to that.
Okay.
No, but Sean's running it, so that's good.
It's Hampton Clean City Commission, Instagram. Just type in the whole thing and it'll pop right up.
All right. So if we're not sold now, like we're out there, we're still on the fence, not ready to get involved, you have some motivation for us today. We're going to hear the band.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
And also the band, as long as you put your request in at least a week, a few days ahead of time, the band can make an appearance at your Adopt-A-Spot location. So whatever organization you are, if you want to do a cleanup and you put in the request to Hampton Clean City Commission, say 5 days in advance, then the band can show up on site, set up, and to your Adopt-A-Spot, you can be listening to some nice melodic, smooth tunes.
All right. So we're going to break and come back with the band. So you will get a taste of what they have to offer and how much fun this can be. We'll be right back.
Hello, everybody. My name is Zachary Lee Hines II. Together with me is Mr. Dominique Robertson, Nisha Smith, and Lauren Sawyer, and together we make up the group Fortresses. And today we're here to present to you a selection that is used in cooperation with the Change program, Something You Should Know. Life is the touch of love that nature brings to me. We've got to help the world fulfill its destiny. Now is the time. Don't throw yourself away. Pick up the pain so that we may
nature brings to me. We gotta help the world fulfill its destiny. Now is the time. Don't throw yourself away. Pick up the pain so that we may breathe.
Now is the time to plant a seed of love. The earth is crying out to be protected. She's fought so long to bring life, crystal waters, fresh air, a breath of vitality so that we may move and realize that we are young, afraid of our own purpose to keep you alive. And we love you, world, and we're sorry. So let us remember that we are a part of you. Don't throw yourself away. Life is the touch of love.